The reason smart people inside of a team still have projects that fall apart and strategic initiatives that don't get done on time and they get messy is because of one reason. We don't know who the pig is. So here's the deal. We got all this stuff going on inside of an organization. We've got the business as usual work. We've got some rework. Maybe we've got some fire drills going on. If things are unstable, we've got some crisis situations going on. And we've got a lot of people trying to do a lot of great work. And there's no shortage of busy things to do inside the business. But the truth is, whenever it comes to managing and organizing a team to be a high-performing, high-achieving team, you really need to help them not be caught up in who the job title or who has what job title, but instead to be really, really clear on which of the three roles they have: chicken, pig, or champion. That's what this is all about. We're going to talk about the three most essential roles to get the right work done at the right time and have absolute clarity so you can make an impact and get your strategic initiatives done. So look, let's just get real clear. We usually start projects with a lot of good intentions, and a lot of times the easiest part is the actual startup of these big initiatives because everybody's excited and optimistic. But things get messy, especially when you have cross-functional teams, you have multiple experts involved, you've got different altitudes of types of people in terms of the organization, and really quickly what will happen is people start to get confused on who has what, who's bringing things to the finish line, who's actually going to be accountable to get things done, who's managing these meetings, all this stuff. And when that happens, and it happens in so many cases, the first thing I do is I start asking around, who is the pig, who is the chicken, and who is the champion? And we get everybody to use the same terms so that we can improve the way we do our meetings and the way we do our emails. Because if we can tell somebody, hey, I'm just showing up being a chicken here, we immediately tell everybody in the room what that means and what role I'm playing. Same thing with, hey, I'm the pig. This is why I'm working through this, right? So as we start to have role clarity on who has what, we then move to a better way to organize and execute on our meetings. So let's talk about what is a chicken, a pig, and a champion. First off, a chicken is a collaborator. They have ideas, they have feedback, they have a lot they can contribute in a meeting. Sometimes the chickens are even experts, but they don't own the work. They're not getting the work done. What they're doing is they're collaborating. They're showing up with good ideas, expertise. They're trying to be helpful. They do not get the job done, especially inside of a big complex project. They're not the ones who are going to quote unquote own it to the end. So let's talk about the pig. The pig is the one who gets it to the finish line. The pig is the one who makes it happen. The pig is the one who says, I have ultimate authority and accountability to get this initiative, this project to the finish line. It does not mean the pig has all the skill, all the capability, all the know-how to do it, because we're not trying to get the pig to own all the work, do all the work, be heads down, making it all happen by themselves. The pig, though, has to know who to delegate to, who can do what functions, what the timing is. They're the ones that are orchestrating, getting it to the end result. They're the ones who know why meetings have to occur, why deliverables need to happen in certain times, and why it is that these items are critical because they're fully invested in getting it to the finish line. So that's what the pig's job is to own it, commit to it, follow it to the finish line. They do that by using chickens who need to show up, who need to collaborate in the meetings, who need to give advice and counsel, who need to share expertise. And those chickens a lot of times can take on tasks, very small things, right? Very small can be relative, right? They might have a task that is build a big spreadsheet. They might have a task like, can you make sure the website gets built and designed? But the pig is still going to be the one following the timeline, following up, doing all the things to make sure the website does get launched, even if someone else downstream is accountable for the work. So the pig owns the work. The chickens collaborate on the work. And the last one is champions. Champions advocate for the work. They sponsor the work. They enable the work. They clear the way. These guys and girls that are the champions are fully invested in the overall success. And large organizations, they're giving air cover. They're talking in other cross-functional planning sessions. They're talking inside of the boardroom. They're doing all the thing at a different level to make sure the project is successfully enabled, championed for, sponsored, advocated. All those good words help show what a champion does when they show up to enable this initiative to go forward. They're constantly helping the pig pave the way, right? So removing blockers, providing support, resourcing, all those things are roles of the champion. So anytime we have a project going on and there's confusion, that's the first place I start is who's the chickens, pigs, and champion here so that we can start to calibrate who's who in this entire process and who's going to take ownership. When you put this kind of structure in place, when you start referring to who are the chickens, pigs, and champions, what immediately happens is people begin to rise up, they begin to understand what the expectations are, and they perform to those roles, and they don't get confused. Because one of the things that happens a lot of times is when somebody shows up with a plan, when somebody shows up with answers, a lot of times the room will look to that person and say, well, that person has it all figured out. They've got it from here. And that's actually one of the biggest problems. When a chicken shows up with answers and you think the chicken is the one who now owns the initiative because they had the answers, that chicken will say, hey, but I had other things going on. I thought I was just here to collaborate. And everybody else in the room will say, he must be the pig now. So I'm hoping in this moment you can see how much clarity is offered when we project onto people who we think is doing what, because it happens all the time, especially when the executives show up or the owner shows up or one of the big leaders show up and they have so much of the information. They seem to have all the sort of wayfinding signals in the organization. They know what resources to pull in, and they're showing up thinking, I'm just the champion here. I'm going to give some feedback, clear the way, and then I'm going to move back on. But the whole room says, oh, they got it all figured out. And so now you're looking at that person is the one who's running the show, going to get it to the finish line. So these are the things that help us calibrate who's working on what and get really clear on who to support, how to support them, and how to bring projects to the finish line. That's what you need to know about the fundamentals of great projects being executed well with chickens, pigs, and champions. Hey, glad you're here. Glad you watched this great content. Please like and subscribe for more just like this and leave a comment. It helps us know that you're watching. And especially if you have questions, we'd love to help you out. I've got a great framework for you. It's called 4corequestions.com. It can be the difference between being confused to having clarity. So check that out. And we've got some more links in the description below.